Good morning, my friends. Today is 2020, August 10th, 1:50 p.m. San Francisco time, and welcome to the Xah Talk Show. Today we are going to do emacs, lisp, and braille, this fantastic Unicode thing, and possibly some JavaScript coding. Okay. Now, what I want you to do. Let's look at my talk show page. Okay, talk show. Go to magnify. On the right window, you can see all my emacs command. If I press a key, you can see the command there, and also my keystrokes. I'm using Vorak keyboard. Let's go to talk show. I'm using Vorak keyboard and Xah keys. Vorak layout. Okay. Now show in browser. So this is my today's talk show page, and we're gonna talk about emacs. So here is the thing. Okay, hold on a second. Let me do this. Let's change it to UL. Let's change it to OL, numbered ordered list. Okay, and let's do this. Okay, I don't have a number. So I want you to pick a topic. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so meanwhile you can see my emacs workflow. Okay, remove those bullets, and I want to call a command rectangle number lines. Okay, undo. You need to select the part you want, then rectangle number lines. So you can see 1 2 3 4 we got numbered items. So copy that and go back to the stream, and I'm going to post here, so you guys pick a topic. Okay, what we're gonna talk about today. Oops, that didn't go well, but anyway, 1 2 3 4 4 topics. Good morning, Scott. So Scott is a C and C++ expert, and is working on CPU and GPU stuff, being for 20 years, right? So Scott says, funny, I was just looking at the Braille Unicode earlier today because something is used for cheap graphing on the terminal. Oh, that's interesting. What is cheap graphing? So speaking of Unicode, let me show you. Okay, so you go to Xah Unicode. So let me show you this Unicode app. This is fantastic and fun. Hold on a second. Let me modify this. So wait, let's magnify. Okay, so you can see better. Okay, so I want to remove the list here. So I call a command kill rectangle, removes those numbers, and show in browser. That's what I want. I don't want the numbers. So you guys pick a topic. Okay, now we search for Xah Unicode. So Unicode, this is my page. I love Unicode. Unicode and symbology, symbols, and functional programming and mathematics. You see, it's all related, and linguistics, and well, stuff like that. So anyway, here is the Braille. You go there, and here is one of the fantastic thing. Do you know about ROT 13? You know, that's one of the cryptography. For example, let me show you. Okay, something in the water. So you have that, and in Emacs you call meta-x ROT 13 region. Okay, and that becomes that. It becomes gibbish. You know why? Because there is a cryptograph. Okay, let me explain. So am I doing okay? So guys, pick a topic. Okay, how many people? We have 8 people. Come in, say hi, and pick a topic. Pick topic in the chat box. Hey, good morning, Alan. So let me explain about cryptography, the very basics if you don't know. Okay, so so let me show you Xah crypto how do you call that? Cryptanalysis, cryptology. Let's just say cryptanalysis. So I have a tutorial on the basics of Jesus. How do you spell cryptology? Okay, cryptology. No, that's not. Oh, CRY. Wait. Here, well, here's my article. Public key cryptography for beginner. Okay, go read it. Public key cryptography for beginner. So, um, so why is public key cryptography so confusing? Well, is it confusing? Yes, because you have all these abbreviations. For example, PKG, SSH, SSL, TLS, RSA, DES, triple DES, Blowfish, AES, RCS. Then you have more. You have like MD5, SHA-1, and stuff. If you are a programmer, you hear that all the time. So this article is a basic introduction. But let me tell you, the most basic cryptography from like 3,000 years ago is called substitution cipher. Okay. Basically, for example, you look at this here. Okay, so you replace ROT13, ROT13, which stand for rotation 13, which means rotate 13 places. Okay, so what is ROT13? That is a method of encryption. So you are given a text, you want to encrypt it so other people cannot understand it. So ROT13 is a method of encryption. And how do you do it? What is the method? The method is by you take the English alphabets, 26 letters, and you change A to N, B to O, C to P, and so on for every letter. So that's what you got. So for example, we have, let's do it again. So you see, we have something in the water, and you apply ROT13, it becomes that. So basically, if you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, you apply ROT13, then it becomes N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. So why is ROT13? Because because you change A to N, and N is the 13th letter, right? I think so, something like that. But anyway, you can have ROT1, for example, A becomes B, B becomes C, C becomes D. That also works. So this type of cipher is called substitution cipher, and one particular one, you rotate the letters to 13th place, is called ROT13, and you have a command in Emacs that has it built in. Okay, so so we just tried several times. So that's ROT13, and that's that's one of the basic cipher. So you might check out my article. It's an introduction to public key cryptography. Okay. Now, why am I talking about that? Because this Unicode is interesting. Because, for example, let me magnify. Okay, magnify. So I type something, delete. You type something, and it becomes Braille. Fantastic! You see that becomes Braille. And now you can copy the Braille. Copy it. Go back here. Select all. Paste it, and say to English. You see, that's decipherment of the cipher. So you can convert both ways. I just completed this JavaScript a few days ago. Very interesting. Have you guys picked a topic yet? Guys, I said, pick a topic, 1, 2, 3, 4, the topic above. Pick a topic. Okay, so then we're going to talk about that. So Scott says, here's an example of graphing with Braille, Unicode, all these. Okay, so we cannot see your URL link, Scott, because I don't know if you know, we cannot. When you paste link, Google censors it. So Randy Holier, hello. Cortez, good afternoon. Paul Edward says, lately, last couple of months, have been interested in topic related to Emacs workflow. Oh, okay, so you guys want to see Emacs workflow. Okay, let's do that. And Happy Friend says JavaScript. Okay, we can do JavaScript. if I do the the JavaScript, let me show you the simple JavaScript first. So okay, go to my Unicode page. Hold on a second. So go to my Unicode page, local page, and go to the Unicode braille. So this is my local page. Copy the URL back to Emacs, open the link, and magnify. Okay, so you can see here is the JavaScript. You see, so let's open it. It opens actually TypeScript because I do TypeScript. Let me magnify. Okay, so you see here is the TypeScript. Here is the JavaScript. TypeScript, then JavaScript. Yeah. Okay. So you open the TypeScript. So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. So if you so TypeScript, what does it add to JavaScript? Basically, it adds types, like static types, like C, int, float, array, those things, in hope that it reduces programming error. That's what they want types for, and also it increases it reduces type error. That's the primary thing. But in languages like C, C or C++ or Java, it also increases the code speed because because then when you translate it to machine code, it runs faster because it knows. Well, because computers, they are all binary digits. They don't use. They are not integers and floating numbers. You have to. It's all binary numbers on the chip. So when you have an integer, but on the chip it's actually binary number, so you have to kind of do some kind of translation or conversion on the fly when you run a program. So those statically typed languages, C or C++, and now Scott and many of you probably know better than me, correct me. Okay, so when you run C or C++, they have types. They tell the computer what is a type instead of trying to find out on the fly every time when you have an integer. So in general, the typed languages, C, C++, they are faster. And Haskell is a different story. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go to the TypeScript. So TypeScript added types to JavaScript. So you are looking at actually just plain JavaScript. So here's the code for my converting braille to and back and forth. And it's not too many code, but the code is fantastic. Okay, let me tell you, because it involves nested maps. It's fairly elegant, I would say. Okay. But anyway, so let's go back to our topic. So I guess workflow. Let's do some Emacs workflow. So let's see, how are you, by the way? So I'm drinking, by the way, the usual energy drink. Okay, so this is sugar-free. Always drink sugar-free energy drink plus apple cider. It's funny they use the word cider. They should just say apple juice. I'm not sure what's the etymology, but typically only apple juice they call it cider. They don't call grape juice grape cider. I don't think so, for example. So Scott says Google coin top. Okay, so let's do that. Maybe it's something interesting. Coin top. Coin top. Okay, that's not coin top. Terminal based application for tracking. What the fuck? Let's look at that. Tracking your crypto on Linux is dead simple with CoinTop. Tracking your crypto on Linux. Okay, what they mean? CoinTop, view on GitHub. A fast and lightweight. What? A fast and lightweight interactive terminal-based UI application for tracking cryptocurrencies. Oh. Okay, so it's just a terminal app for showing the up and downs of Bitcoin. Okay, so that is understandable. But I want to see So this is useful, guys. My followers, you guys might be interested in this. Thank you, Scott, for that. So let's see. Okay, so cryptocurrency, there are now thousands of them: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, EOS. Okay, anyway, so what is this chart? It's going up and down, going up and down, and going up right now. This is what? This is days or what? Anyway, so coin top. Oh, no, that's good. Okay, market cap. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, cryptocurrency. So Thomas Wall says, I enjoy programming more in dynamic languages these days. Okay. Now I need some ammunition. Quiz of the day. What is the difference between munition and ammunition? Okay. Now that's for you word debuffs to find out today. I'm not going to look into. What is the difference between ammunition and munition? So Emacs workflow. Let's see. Let's look at Emacs workflow. Okay, so I'm doing Emacs right now, and you are looking at my Emacs workflow. I just closed several windows. So move the cursor here. Wait, you see, I want to delete this paragraph. I just move it somewhere in the paragraph, hit one single key, and it's gone. You see that single key is I here on the Voya keyboard with Xah keys. So that's my workflow. But show in browser, one single key again, show in browser. Magnify. So what is the workflow? Emacs workflow. Put elisp command Xah HTML insert br tag into a HTML page. Okay, let's do that. So let me quickly do that first. Okay, let's see how long I've been talking, and comment and questions posted. Okay. And maybe, since we already started random today, we've been talking random for 18 minutes. Maybe I'll show you my new mouse. I have a review of it on my page. This fantastic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons on the side and 2 more buttons on top. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 14. Total is like 14 buttons. This is also Bluetooth. You go buy it. Okay, now Emacs workflow. I want to go to, let me show you my Emacs workflow. The workflow I'm supposed to do is this one, which is put a Emacs lisp command I wrote into my Emacs lisp blog. So that involves quite a few things. Get the source code, create a new page, HTML page, all the templates, paste it there, and prettify and upload to my website. But it's not much different than what I'm doing now, so I might as well just show you what I'm doing now. So this is my Emacs workflow. So this is my workflow. Right now I'm working on a Mac. Let me show you some of the interesting things about my workflow. I have 1,000 articles about that. So first of all, let's go to my keyboard blog. Okay, how you use bookmark. There are 10,000 branching off points. Let's just start to do it. Okay, I press a few key. It goes to my keyboard blog and show in browser. Here is my page up. Here is my keyboard blog. So what did I just do? Basically, Emacs bookmark. Let's go to my Emacs blog. Okay, show in browser. So here's my Emacs blog. Go to my Emacs tutorial. Search for bookmark. It's bookmark. So you can see I have a tutorial on Emacs bookmark. It looks like that. I can show you. I don't want to show you because my bookmark contains files that's private, I guess. So I don't want to show you real time. So basically, here's Emacs bookmark, but I have a special command that opens any specific bookmark without the need to actually open the bookmark. Okay, so that command is, let me show you. That command is what I used to go to my keyboard blog and Emacs blog and any other website. So that command is called, let's see. Okay, so Emacs bookmark, let's see, where is it? Up, up, up. Open the bookmark. Where is it? I should have it linked somewhere. God, I don't have it linked here. I used to have links here. Oh, here it is. You see this one, open file fast. Yeah, so that's the one. So that's the command I used. For example, let me show you again. Okay, I want to go to my JavaScript blog. Okay, I press a key that calls Xah open file fast. Then I just type JB. So you see it pops a in a mini buffer. Whatever I type, it will match by regular expression. Well, by it's a fuzzy matching. So I just type JB and hit enter. I opened my JavaScript blog. Okay, now showing browser, you see my web dev blog. Now back to Emacs, call that command again. Xah open file fast. Let's this time type EB. EB is for Emacs blog. Okay, enter. Showing browser by Emacs blog. So this way, in my bookmark, I have like maybe 100 items, all my files and whatever. And I press, two keys, basically three keys. I press three keys that invokes Xah open file fast. Okay, then I type, one or two characters. For example, I type py, that goes to Python. I press enter. I arrived at my Python tutorial. Showing browser, you see my Python tutorial. So when I want to work on Python, I can quickly open the file. So this is Emacs bookmark with plus the command Xah open file fast. Xah open file fast is just a command, a wrapper that allows you to type a few keys to open your bookmark. So anyway, that is not my bookmark. Now let's go to keyboard. Okay, so go to keyboard. Let's just quickly do it and go. So on my keyboard blog, you go to the mouse section, page down, and this is the mouse I'm talking about. I was going to, I might do a review later on today. Well, I mean, maybe let us do the Emacs workflow first. So okay, so this mouse, okay, you can go there and buy it. So let me copy. So Emacs workflow, right? Let me copy. So press a key to copy the URL back to Emacs. Close it. Xah Talk Show, right? Xah Talk Show. Go down, paste it here, add a few paragraphs, make a link, show in browser. So I have, you see, so it's linked there. So I have a list of whoops, close it. Okay, go back, show in browser again. So you can see it's linked there, so I can put into YouTube. So close it. Topic show notes, close it. Cryptography, close it. Braille, okay. Copy the link, go back here, go to the top, paste it, linkify, show in browser. I have it. Open it, close it, close the Python tutorial. Well, actually, I don't want to close it. Reopen, one single key to reopen it. Copy it back to Emacs. Let's put the Python tutorial here as an advertisement. Python is becoming very popular today because of Google. I talked about Python several times. And Python is a language I don't like. Okay, it sucks. And why does it sucks? Because the inventor Guido, okay, Guido van Rossum. I did 1 hour rant about Guido van Rossum several months ago, half a year ago probably. And that I think that would be interesting. YouTube, you might, some of you might be interested. So Braille, close it. Let's go back to my talk show. Let's see what you guys are talking. Borg Xah drink indeed. So Paul Edwards says cider is fermented apples. Oh, fermented apples. Okay, usually alcoholic, very good and popular with ladies up there in Canada. Okay, but my apple cider is not alcoholic. Okay, but anyway, so that's the meaning of cider, I guess. Paul Edward, hey, Paul Edward, are you lunarious? So, Scott says, have you contrasted Python with Ruby? Yes or no? Well, I have quite a few articles about Python and Ruby. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, so let's see. Right now I want to go to my Ruby blog. So let me show you the command to open file fast again. So press 3 keys, then type RUBY, enter. That's my Ruby blog. Show in browser. This is my Ruby tutorial. Learn Ruby in 1 hour. Okay, so you have this page. That's basic introduction to Ruby. Page down. I don't actually know Ruby well, so I learned Ruby for 3 months about 5 years ago, 2015 or so, because I was trying to get a job. But anyway, so Ruby, in my opinion, is a much better language than Python. Ruby is more clean, simple, elegant, and equally powerful. Ruby and Python and Perl, they are basically all the same class. Okay, doesn't matter which one you like. They are the same. They are almost the same in their efficiency, in their specialization, the type of tasks they do, in their high levelness. Ruby, Python, Perl, they are the same. But of course, you can compare the syntax, compare the community. The communities are a bit different. Okay, you can compare the syntax, you can compare the semantics. You can compare the documentation quality. You can compare the complexity of the language. Their model. Each language have a model they build on. So, for example, Lisp, Haskell, C, they have very fundamentally different models of computation. You can almost call it a virtual machine. For Python, Java, C, or Haskell, very different model, and Lisp. So you can also talk about that between Ruby and Python and Perl. And I would say so. Ruby comes out the winner in every way than Python, in my opinion. I'm certain of that. Okay, of course, it's somewhat subjective because every person have different ideas about what which language they like, and the biases in their preferences about syntax and so on. But in my opinion, okay, here's the important part. Here's a Xah's video. Important part. In my opinion, it is true that languages, each person have biases and preferences. You could say there is no objective objective comparison, but actually, in my opinion, there is. All things considered, you look at computer science, you look at human animals history, entire humanity. Suppose you are God, suppose you are omniscient, you know everything about computer science, you know everything about mathematics, you know the entirety of human history. Suppose you are that. Then you can, if you ask God, so in your opinion, which one is better, Ruby or Python? or whatever language, C, there is the answer. Okay, this is my opinion. So in other words, there is objectivity in judging a programming language, even in a general sense, without precise definition. What do you mean by better? What do you mean by better? Some people compare by speed, some people compare by how fast you can prototype it. In general, higher level languages are faster. You can code things faster than C or C++. There are so many ways to judge. You can compare speed, you can compare the simplicity, you can compare the utility of the language. For example, Python is much more general purpose than C, for example, because C is very tedious. You have to do all this code to do. Python is much more general and general purpose. Even for some things, it's much slower than C and not suitable, for example. So there are so many ways to compare languages, but all things considered, I believe there is usually you could say one is better than the other. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting a bit far, but anyway, Ruby and Python, I like Ruby much better. But right now, today, I don't, Perl. So Ruby and Perl, they share much more similarities, because Ruby by design is a derivative of Perl and Lisp. Okay, I have so many articles. Let me show you. Okay, open a new page. Emacs workflow. Okay, Xah magnify. Xah. So Xah Ruby Maths. Okay, search. Press a key to search on the web. So that command is called Xah lookup web. It's a package on Mailpad. You can get. Okay, so now back to browser. So here is I have several articles about these some of these are 10 years old or interesting articles. Okay, about programming languages. Okay, I didn't find the one I want. Let's do it again. Ergo Emacs. Okay, Ergo Emacs Ruby Maths. Search that. There it is. So Ruby creator Maths on how Emacs changed my life. So this guy, Ruby creator Maths, he did a talk in 2012. 2012 at Liberal Planet. Okay, at MIT, University of Massachusetts, where Richard Stallman is at, the GNU. So he actually won an award from GNU. So anyway, he talked about the history of Ruby, why he created, how he invented it. Okay, so actually he's a programmer on this calculator, his first language, BASIC, on this sharp calculator. Okay, go back to Emacs, close that, don't save, magnify, learn Ruby in 1 hour, show in browser, back to Emacs, close it, show in browser, talk show. That's right. Go back to Emacs, paste it here, make a list. Okay, so we have that topic there. So close that. Also copy Ruby, back to Emacs, paste it. So learn Ruby in 1 hour. So that's a tutorial, and Python by example. So close that. Let me talk about learn Ruby. Okay, learn Ruby in 1 hour. So Ruby, the language, is basically improvement of Perl. This guy saw Perl and he is very impressed by it. However, the syntax of Perl is crap. Okay, he doesn't follow the Perl code. Perl is a code. So he wanted to create something as powerful as Perl, very useful like Perl back then, 1990s. Very useful, but he wants to change the syntax to something better. And he's also a big fan of Emacs. This guy lives in Emacs. So he started to study Emacs Lisp and look at the code, how Emacs Lisp is implemented. So then he created Ruby, just by himself. Here's his history. I mean, this one is the Sun Microsystems. This is his first computer he owned, like that one. So he created Ruby, and he wants to create a Perl but better syntax, and the implementation is all from Lisp. Okay, he learned from emacs Lisp, not just common Lisp or scheme. He learned from emacs Lisp source code to create Ruby. So in fact, you can see. So he also likes Lisp, but he doesn't like the Lisp parentheses. Okay, he doesn't like the parentheses. So he created Ruby. So Ruby is a improved, much clean version of Perl with many features of Lisp. In fact, the implementation of Ruby is like a copy of emacs Lisp. You can see, for example, in Ruby, you can see some of the similarities. For example, in Ruby, in a early version of Ruby, the number types, the character, there's no character type in Ruby back then. Maybe not. I'm not sure today. I don't know Ruby that much. But anyway, in Ruby, there's no character type, or there is. But anyway, the character types shares the same type as an integer. For example, in Emacs, let me show you. Okay. So in Emacs, I open a new buffer. So look at my command. Okay, let's do it again. Close. Don't save. New buffer. Type a parenthesis. Now look at the pink window to see all the commands I'm calling. Okay, magnify, magnify, magnify. Okay, plus 1 2. Okay, move the cursor to the right. Evaluate it. Okay, eval last 6. Now look at the bottom. Okay, now look at the bottom. Okay, so let's go to the message buffer. Now look at the bottom. You see, Emacs shows that. Emacs shows 3. Then Emacs shows this bunch of things. This part. Okay, let me copy it, put it here. Let's make it this Xah Emacs list mod. Okay, so and paste it here, comment it out. So this is the output. So the output is 3, but why does it show what is this O3 X3? Let me explain. Okay, so this is octal notation. Octal notation for 3. In emacs Lisp, this is, for example, in emacs Lisp, you can also, for example, you could say it'll come out the same. Okay, evaluate it. You see, it comes out the same. Let's try again. So I want to evaluate this code. This is actually octal notation for number 1, which is just 1 in decimal. This is 2. Okay, so 1 plus 2 equals 2. Let's evaluate. So you can see the same result, 3. But why does it print that? Because okay, it shows you octal notation, it shows you the hexadecimal notation, but then there's this one. Now that's interesting. That notation in emacs Lisp indicates the character. I mean, that indicates the keystroke Control C. Okay, why Control C? Because Control C is in part of the ASCII code. It has a code number, code point 3. Okay, so let me show you something else. Okay, let's say 90 plus 2. Let's say 90. Let's do it again. Okay, 90 plus 3. Okay, let's run it. Wait, let's not. Let's say 90 plus 6. Okay, let's run it. You can see the result at the bottom. Okay. Wait, let's not do 96. Let's do 90 plus 7. Okay, run it. You can see the result at bottom. So let me copy the result and put it here. Comment it out. Let's put it here. Okay. Let's clean up. Okay, so 90 plus 7 returns this thing, which is 97. So then you have the octal notation. Octal notation, then you have the hex notation, and then what is that? That is character A as in apple, because in ASCII code A is 97. So but but the result is 97 integer. Why are you showing a character? This is the syntax for a character in Emacs, by the way. Why are you showing a? Because in Emacs Lisp there is no distinction between a integer and a character. Okay, a character is an integer. An integer is also a character at the same time. So which one it is depends on how you want to use it. For example, we can do, for example, let me show you. Okay, char2 int. Okay, wait, char2 int. Okay, char2 string. Okay, char2 string. And it asks me for a character as a argument. Let's just type that. Okay, question mark a. That's a syntax for a character. So I evaluate it. You see, it says a. You can see. Can you see it? You see here. That's the result. A, string a. Wait. You see. So in Emacs Lisp, a character and integer is the same thing, indistinguishable. Now in Ruby, at least like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it's the same way because Ruby copied from Emacs Lisp. But however, this property, I mean, it's not good to have a language where the character and integers are the same. It's stupid, actually. It's a mistake. So Ruby inherited that. You have to learn, you have to begin somewhere. So Ruby inherited that mistake. But I believe they changed it in Ruby 3 also. So anyway, that's kind of my some segue, a word I learned, a segue into digressions about this. Let me show you this. Okay, create a eLisp code, paste it here, show in browser. Okay, we have today's sample Emacs Lisp code, and press a key to syntax color it. Back to browser, show it, syntax colored. Fantastic. Back to Emacs. Then you can see here is the command I just called to syntax color it. So actually that's a lot of digression, and so let's go back to Ruby versus Perl. I wrote a lot history of programming languages in one sentence. Okay, that's kind of which language to learn: Perl, Python, Ruby, Java, PHP, Emacs Lisp. Okay, so this one is written in 2013. I give you my reasons. But Ruby, Ruby is the antithesis of Python as far as in the history of these programming languages. Ruby, Ruby. Well, not antithesis. I'm sorry, antithesis of Perl actually. Well, Python and Perl. Python is the antithesis of Perl. Yeah, not Ruby. Anyway, so here's a funny picture of the guy. Let me show you the guy, the creator of Ruby, wearing a Python shirt. And here's my friend Thomas. He's a entrepreneur in China. He created Git Cafe, which is kind of like GitHub. You could say a GitHub clone, but for use in China. So this is back in 2013 or so. So you have Matt and him and his team, my friend's team, Git Cafe. They were using Ruby, and here's Git Cafe logo. But he sold the company a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So he's an entrepreneur, this guy Thomas. So that's some. I have interesting things about Ruby. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Let's see. How long have I been talking? Comments, questions? 45 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Let's see the comments. Let me go back to the comments. Braille workflow. Okay, let me show you. Okay, have you ever programmed in C#? No. Cider. Okay, so it shows the graph using braille. Oh yeah, we forgot about that. Wait, let's see. Okay, oh wait, here. Oh, okay, so this graph is in braille. Jesus. This ASCII hack. These people using ASCII hack, Unicode hack. They are using braille to emulate a graph, a chart, a stock chart. And this it's a hack I do not approve, because if you want to use ASCII or characters or Unicode characters to emulate a graph, I don't think you should use braille. I mean, yeah, you could, but it's a hack. It's not designed to do so. It's I do not approve these crazy people. I suppose there's, I mean, well, it's just like ASCII art. Yeah, it has, it's useful, but it's a hack. So braille, yeah. So let's see if I have links to braille here. So braille, braille is very interesting. Let's magnify. Okay, so braille is kinda interesting, because why is it interesting? Because it is just a bunch of dots, very appealing to mathematicians. Why? Because it's kind of a combinatorial thing. For example, you can ask the question, how many possible arrangements you can have for three dots in a 3 by 2 grid? How many possible arrangements can you have? That's a math question. Combinatorial, and programmers also like it, find it appealing, because it's, it looks like, you have seen the matrix code, right? So it's interesting. And by the way, there's also 8-dot version of braille. It's some kind of extension. But when I studied braille, let me tell you, braille is the way they are created, the way they represent letters. For example, here's the A, B, C, D. Is not elegant. It's not systematic. It's not consistent. It is almost like random. Okay, randomish. And my impression of that of this is that it just happened that way, because I believe someone in France, you can go to Wikipedia to read the details. But anyway, someone just created it without a solid mathematical foundation or theory, which one should represent what. There's no such. It just happened to be invented. I think originally it's supposed to be military code or something, but eventually it becomes braille for the blind. So yeah, and also they have this weird, braille is just a bunch of dots, right, in a grid. So theoretically, you might think that it has the potential to be extremely consistent on how, or either that, it's like keyboard layout. Why should you have QWERTY on the top row? There are billions of ways to arrange letters. Why are we using the way we use? And the reason we know today is just history. Okay, it's not for any specially designed reason. It just happened so that it happened to be that way. I think it's the same reason. I mean, the same thing applies to braille. It's not consistent. So theoretically, braille could be a much more consistent system. And also another way to create braille is that you have to create these symbols just based on perception, human tactile sensation. For example, if you are a scientist, you are a statistician and scientist, and you study human perception with the tactile sensation. You can, for example, let me ask the concrete question: of all the Braille characters, which one is most recognizable? Now, we are not blind, so we haven't actually tried Braille, but for the blind people, they probably can tell you, oh, they can most easily recognize certain, dot patterns. And so you can create a Braille system based on that. Which letter are used most frequently, which letter is most easy to perceive, then create a Braille translation based on that. But I don't think that's the way our Braille is, and of course it's impossible to fix. It's too late. So anyway, that's Braille. So random chat. Anything else? Comment, okay? And maybe that's about it today. Random things. Let's see how long I've been talking. $52 minutes. Okay, so we have Discord, Xah Discord. You can find my Discord on my website, xah.info. So go join Discord. We have a lot of people, tons of people, diversity, fairly diverse. Okay, I would say, but most of us here are still nerds in one way or another. For example, we don't have lawyers in our group. We don't have English majors in our group. Well, we have Alan, who is linguist, and we have Francie, who is also a linguist. I mean, but in general, we are still nerds overall, and we talk about things. So join the Discord. But also, I like to say, if you join, it's preferred you use your real name. Okay, this is not another Reddit or 4chan or another Hacker News. Okay, I despise those. This is not another random website you go to and fart, and you can change your nickname, be anonymous and fuck around and tomorrow and go off. This is not a place like that. I want, I created it, of course. So I prefer it to be a place you actually meet people. You get to know other people. We know each other. Aaron. Here's some of the us regulars: Alan, Ripper, Ran, Super. Sometimes we go on live stream and chat about things, and Cortez and Smoking Court. All these people actually I met at least online, face to face. Many of them, So join, okay? Join, it's fun, and you can be anonymous if you want to, but try not to be. You go here, meet other interesting people, make a difference in real life. So you might meet them in real life and help each other out, things like that. That's better instead of the fucking Twitter, the Reddit, hacker news, the Facebook, the hot, star. You go there to get the stars and drama. The fuck, it becomes a shithole, worse and worse. All 4chan and 8chan, whatever chan. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what else. E-wheel. So I'm gonna read the comments, and maybe that's it for today. Okay. So Scott agrees that Ruby is better than Python, and Scott is disappointed that Raspberry Pi projects are Python based instead of Ruby. Yeah, because of the Guido van Rossum. Guido van Rossum, the guy who created Python. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's a good person, a great guy, and he created Python, and now it's used everywhere, very popular because of Google. Okay, I talked about this a few times in the past. I have one video that I talked about Guido van Rossum and why Python is not good for 1 hour. So go watch that about half a year ago. So he, and Python, the Guido van Rossum guy, he doesn't like functional programming. Okay, he's not fan of it, and in fact, he doesn't understand much about functional programming. But however, he's this sort of he think of his design. He think his design is the best. Even though he doesn't say that, but implicitly his behavior, the way he writes things, implies that he think his design is better. Oh, Python, crap, Python. And he has this idea that he want Python to be the number one educational language. He has tried to push that for a long time, for 10 years. The first 10 years when he created Python, he want every school education institution to begin with Python. This guy is idiot. Okay, Python the language. First of all, it's inelegant. It's not elegant in any way. Ruby scheme are both more elegant than Python. Ruby came later. Okay, Ruby, Python, Perl, they came all about the same time. Well, Perl first, then Python, then Ruby. Okay, the difference in year about 2. Okay, Perl is created in 1986 or 1989, something like that. Then after a year or 2, Python. Then you have Perl. Then you have Ruby. Okay, but Python the language is not really elegant. It's not really orthogonal like Scheme. It's not that great. Okay, it's not really that great, and it's absolutely not a easy to learn language. Okay, it's not like one of the Logo, for example. Logo is Logo. Quite a few Scheme, including Scheme, Logo, Scheme, and quite a few other languages are Basic, the most popular, and Pascal. They are designed to be simple to learn. They are designed to be educational programming languages. But if you compare, Python is really not. Python, the language, you look at it, it's not a easy to learn language. But this Guido idiot, he really wants Python to be like I created Python. It's the most easy, simple to learn. It's not at all by any judgment. Okay. Except the Python phonetics. The Python phonetics every day they are talking about Python. They don't know nothing. But if you try to ask all people objectively about people who know different languages, not average programmers who been in programming for 10 years, that doesn't count. You want actually people who have done education or study human psychology, perception, learning, or has been a teacher teaching programming languages of different programming languages at different levels. You ask those people. Python is not a easy to learn language at all compared to Basic, Scheme, and and Logo and so on. Quite a few now. There's some graphics languages, but this Guido van Rossum guy, he just think that he's the best. So he pushed Python to be the number one educational language, and he failed, basically. Yeah, he failed completely. But why is Python so popular? That's not because of Guido van Rossum at all. Because of Google. I talked about this twice, 2 or 3 times in my past video. Because of Google. The first time is in around 2000, year 2000. Google picked Python to be their choice of language, scripting language at Google. The other is, Google's choice of language is Python, C, C++, and Java. Mostly Java, Python, C++, and C. Usually more or less in that order. Because Google becomes very big in year 2000, so everyone is like, oh, Google is using Python. This is the first time Google made Python popular. Python, it wasn't known. It was back then you had Perl, no other choice. Google made Python. Google gave a big giant helping hand, made Python popular. Okay, then in 2000s, Ruby on Rails came up. Ruby becomes everywhere. Then Python is falling behind, actually falling behind around year 2010. Then Google again gave a huge helping hand that brought Python up to popularity. Why? Because of the machine learning shit. We are into machine learning age. So Google every day is like, machine learning this and that. Oh, we have a library in Python do machine learning. So that is why Python becomes even far more popular. It becomes it's falling apart. Then Google and machine learning craze drove the popularity of Python. And Ruby kind of sad. Ruby is kind of just falling behind. So anyway, so I guess that's it for today. So Jason, yeah. So Jason, I've only ever used Python, but I like to be open to giving Ruby a go. So yeah, you might try my tutorial. That's good. Thank you. If you like my tutorials, buy them. Okay, I have my Emacs tutorial for sale. You just go to my Emacs website, you'll find it. Okay, my Emacs tutorial, and actually the tutorial that I'm most proud of is my JavaScript in depth. Okay, let me mention that. I talked about this several times. JavaScript in depth. Now, I've been coding Emacs Lisp for 15 years, almost every day. Emacs Lisp, and I have my Emacs Lisp tutorial on the website. It's most popular, the most it's almost the only one on the web in terms of quality and quantity. But so I spent 15 years in Emacs Lisp, and I have a lot more experience in Emacs Lisp than Java. But however, in JavaScript, I spent full-time 2 years to write this JavaScript in depth. So actually, I know JavaScript, the language, far more than I know Emacs Lisp. I mean the technical details of the language. I spent 2 years to write this JavaScript in depth. I read, for example, the specifications, the extreme complex JavaScript specifications, the most lousily written. And JavaScript language really sucks in so many ways. So I wrote this JavaScript in depth. I've also read quite a few books for JavaScript. Anyway, I have too much to say about JavaScript. But anyway, I want to tell you my JavaScript in depth is really the one I'm most proud of, and I think it's better than any tutorial in English language. Okay, that's my claim, and I say that with confidence. Okay, my JavaScript tutorial is better than any JavaScript tutorial that exists either online or in book form, in printed form, in English language, except two. Okay, qualification, except two or three books, which I think may be better than my tutorial. Okay, I've talked about this many times. Actually, I have an article that compares the different JavaScript tutorials. Anyway, I just want to say that judge it yourself, and check out my JavaScript tutorial. If you like it, buy it. Okay, so let's see comments, and we are about done today. We are about done today. That's what, 1 hour and 5 minutes. Okay. Bartholomew, good morning. Haven't seen you for a while. Bart says, look at Pascal, look at Oberon, or what it was called. Nobody knows this, yet it has big influences on modern languages. Okay. Uh, Bart says, the kids are taking drugs and being violent. Parents even often accept things, okay, censored by YouTube. But your comments are censored by YouTube. Don't use words like shit. Yeah, 3 of your comments are censored by YouTube. And Alan says, drama, the fuck shit hole. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna scan the comments, and that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming. Thomas Wall says, Steph, okay, something. Ruby parallels how I think. Okay, small talk as well. Okay, in Ruby, all types are classes, all operators are methods. Yeah, I like that because you see, I like those kind of things. Systematic. When you learn a new language, for example, Lisp syntax, you only have to learn 1 or 2 things. The Lisp syntax at least. You just learn, okay, parentheses. That's it. Applies everywhere. Applies to the entire language. No exceptions. On the other hand, languages like Python, C, or Perl, every line, every command, every function name, every method, or you have function, or you have method, or you have directives, or you might have commands. You have a bunch of different things, and each one have a different syntax. Then you have the most extremely idiotic list. How do you call that? I forgot the terms. Let's go to my computer tutorial. Okay, let's show in browser programming tutorial. Programming language blog, and you go to the language tutorial section. Wait, not that. You go to the programming language perving, comp-lan perving section. You go to wait, let's go to why Python sucks. Okay. Wait, not why Python thinks sucks. You go to the jargons of software industry. Yeah, there it is. Least comprehension, the most idiotic fuck, and it's loved by Python, by Guido van Rossum. These idiots. Least comprehension because you have a specialized syntax within that line. That's what Python and C is like. While loop, for loop, print statement, especially print. The sprint. The format. You have within each line you have a specialized syntax, specialized thing. Idiot. What language should be? There are different opinions, but in my opinion, I prefer languages that are just a few simple rules that applies to the entire language. Lisp is kind of like that. Okay, for example, the syntax is all parentheses mostly. Then the semantics is also very simple. A function, arguments. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to learn about the language. That's it. Then you code whatever you do. Mathematica, for example, is even more extreme, simple, consistent. Okay, I have quite a few articles on that, but that's another day about this idea of constructed regularity of the syntax. Okay. Discord is written in Ruby. It is not. It is written in JavaScript. Okay, so that's it. That's it exactly. Seems to be trend of using Braille for console based. Those are hacks. This using Braille to graph. This is one of the things that attracts the nerds. The idiotic nerds. You see, let me show you. Let's go back to this. You see, when a programmer of the Unix philosophy type or the nerd type, when they see this, they get excited. Oh man, they're gonna use this for sure, because when they see, oh my god, fantastic! No, you, they, they realize it's braille, it creates a code. This type of thing, it's part of the attraction of the hackers. They just, this little things like that. They attract these nerd types. Of course, I'm not talking about you, Scott. Right? I don't think I don't think Scott is not too much of that type of person. But anyway, I'm just talking about different type of person. These hacker types of programmers, they are fine person too. But I don't like their ideas. Their Perl, Unix, all these hacks. To them, they don't think it's a hack. To them, they think this is smart. It's a different thinking. They think it's smart. And also the C programmers, they like little tricks, little techniques, little tricks. Perl Golf, for example, Vim, Vim Golf, Perl Golf, crap. I don't like any of those. I want science. Okay, I'm a scientist, not a hacker. I study math. I'm a mathematician, not the trick and this and that, the Unix philosophy crap. So I have a hard time catching up with the comments. So let me just skip a few, and that's it for today. Okay, Scott gonna go. Okay, so looks like he's trying to be modest. He has no reason to be modest. He's done so many things. Okay, MC Reed in speaking German. Okay, I'm gonna skip the comments and no question to me. Any questions to me? Yeah, too many comments. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Bye. I'm gonna close in 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. Close down. I need to get my fan. Oh, forget it. Let me get my fan. We close down in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Bye, guys. History of software by Xah, by Thomas Wall. Where are you from, Thomas Wall? Join Discord. Okay, Bart says their products are crap, yet every school buys their products. Shows that superior engineering doesn't win.